Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King. And today I'm going to be giving you part 21 of What If Naruto Became the God of Lightning. Remember to get this one to 100 likes as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also guys, go ahead and check out the brand new episode of What If Naruto Had the Rarest Bloodline over on Anime King 2. And enjoy that guys, and enjoy. And also stay tuned for a new episode coming over Anime King 3. And yes, if you're new, you heard that correctly. I have 3 channels, Anime King 2, Anime King 3, which I post what if on every single day for you guys to enjoy. So go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And yeah, without further ado, what is to begin this new episode? Start the intro. So the last time we left off, Shikamaru was the one that got the host for Naruto after showing Naruto it personally, as they had met up a couple of times at Hina-san, seeing that Shikamaru was a liaison between the San and Konoha, and Temari was the same as well. When it comes towards Konoha, Ino was rather pissed as Shikamaru has been speaking to Naruto the entire time and he did not tell anyone. What he said really pissed her off. It would be a drag. After all, they would just want to know about Naruto as well. And then they would want to tag along and follow him. And that would just be a drag. Naruto had saw the tension between the two. Despite Shikamaru being lazy, he must have noticed it or he did not. But Temari seemed to like him. So Naruto did the next best thing. He hooked them up. After all, it was like the both of them had feelings for each other but they didn't want to act on it. So Naruto spoke about it, seeing the best way. As Shikamaru regretted Naruto speaking about it because Temari had become rather troublesome and bossy, as Sakura said that she didn't have the courage to move out of her parents' place. As Naruto told her she would have to, after all, when they get Sasuke back. If he wants to come over, he will have to visit her parents' place. She was surprised by that, but Naruto reassured her once again that they will get him back no matter what. As she felt more confident, she decided to go and gather everyone. Since they had a final meal before he went away, they should catch up. So that is exactly what they did as they were at the bar. Kiba, seemingly rather jealous of Naruto. Ninjas were coming towards the village though, as they went to speak to Snatty. It was then that a girl came to the bar. He was shocked. Her beauty, and not to mention her figure, was just, and her chest. He went to go and flirt with her, as Naruto sat there rather amused, as she played the same game again, as she spoke to Kiba. The way she spoke, it made it seem like he had a chance. Well, in actuality, he didn't have a chance. As Naruto came over, faking hurt. As Kiba then realized why. When the girl kissed Naruto, Kiba was shocked by that, as he couldn't believe it. As it was some way, as she had came to the village. It seems like Snad set up something wonderful just for him. As to show the agreement between Kumo and Konoha, this was a first test run for ninjas to move from Kumo to live in Konoha. Well, not yet, but it was just a test run. And she was the first one. As the both of them had left soon after, everyone had an idea at the barbecue shack. Why did they leave so quickly? As Kiba couldn't believe it. Awesome name as the God of Lightning and then super hot girlfriend. He couldn't believe it. As Naruto went home immediately with Samui. After they were finished, she kept on teasing him about their first time. As we would dive into a flashback about when he first went to Kumo, and also when the both of them found out that they love each other. The next day came as Amoy, Karu, and Yujito were gonna leave. As Naruto pulled out Yujito's book out of her pouch, it was the same book that Kakashi was reading. In fact, she was a closet pervert, and many people were too scared of her in Kumo to step up to her to ask her for a date, as they thought that she might bite them or something. She was just giving off this ooze of attractive, independent kunoichi. As Naruto said that she and Kakashi would get along rather quickly. After all, the both of them read the same book. He didn't know what happened as Kakashi refused to tell him, but he didn't really mind, as a part of the agreement that she made with the Raikage, Tsunade said that Samui would also be showing her skills with Naruto and Sakura against Kakashi. Kakashi wondered, did he really have to do this? After all, Naruto already made his name as a god of lightning. But Tsunade insisted, and who was he to go against Hokage's order? As she told him to begin the match, as the others were there eager to see how much Naruto has grown in the past couple of years. So yeah guys, it was basically that's what I thought you guys can switch across the place and check it out for yourself. So this will be in this new episode. The ground was destroyed, literally torn to pieces. A massive punch from Sakura completely wrecked the entire area, forced the ninjas around that came to view this spectacle to jump away. After all, the debris nearly hit some of them. Marks were carved in the trees around from a blade that seemed to be really hot. It was some blade that was coated in lightning. At the moment, Kakashi wondered why the hell he was doing this. A part of this was a big waste of his time. He loved to see how much his student has grown. Not to mention this Samui girl was, well trained, as he could already see that. But the test wasn't over yet. All he wanted to do right now is stop and go back to his reading. But he couldn't do that. Hokage orders, as she told him not to slack off or be lazy. Kakashi felt exhausted. He had his Sharingan revealed, and scratch marks were all over him, near misses from the blade. When that girl moved, she come at you hard, really hard. And his clothes were burned in certain area from the lightning strikes that he dodged on a wimp. And the messed up thing about this was, they were perfectly fine. They covered each other so well. If it wasn't Naruto, it was Samui. They covered Sakura and she covered them with her genjutsu. But Kakashi was able to break through them with his Sharingan. But still, he was the one getting hurt here, and the three of them was fine. As the three of them stood across from him, Naruto hasn't done much. Using his speed and reflexes, he barely show off any jutsu. Well, said Kakashi, I suppose that does it for the Kinjutsu and Taijutsu part, he said. Now let us move on to ninjutsu. Are you sure you want to do that, Kakashi-sensei? Given where you're standing, said Naruto. As Kakashi looked down towards the water, well, I suppose there is a reason they called you the God of Lightning. But you don't have to worry about me, he said. As he sped through hand sign quickly, his hands moving like a blur. Whoa, said Kiba. Water style, water dragon jutsu. The water at his feet stirred before creating a massive dragon. As Samui looked at Naruto, you got this? Yeah, said Naruto as he went through hand sign of his own. Combination jutsu. Electrified serpent, he said. Kakashi watched as Naruto spew water out of his mouth. A large quantity. The water then rose up as he started to shock. Kakashi eye widened as he leaped off the water surface, as Naruto water serpent teared through his water dragon. But the crazy thing about it was chasing him. As he flipped on a tree, he flipped under another one, before flipping over the top one. He pulled out a kunai and that explosive tag and threw it. Boom! It exploded the water serpent, the electricity flaring off in each direction. Kakashi was shocked by that. He was literally electrocuted in mid-air as he fell to the ground in a poof, showing that it was nothing but a clone. The real Kakashi was under bushes hiding. What the hell? It's the first time he ever heard of a combination jutsu that have an after effect even after being destroyed. Seems like Naruto has really kicked it up a notch in these past 3 years. Kakashi smiled. He was just like his father. He was unpredictable, fast, quick, able to think on the fly. Yes. The more and more he thought about it, the more Naruto will show attributes of Minato, even the ability to surpass him. At the moment, Kakashi didn't know whether Naruto had surpassed the fourth or not yet. After all, Naruto was holding back a lot. Not to mention he was already able to master up to 4 tail worth of the Fox Chakra once he was here. As Kakashi wondered how much has he gone now. Well, that wouldn't be wise for him to use that in the village. Suddenly, the bushes that he was hiding under wrapped around him tight. He cursed as he broke the genjutsu. Just in time as he moved back, Sakura fist destroyed the entire area. He leaped up in mid-air. As he sensed someone coming behind him, he went through hand sign, fire style, fireball jutsu as he spewed out a fireball. Samui waved their blade as an arc of electricity rippled out from it and sliced the fireball in half. lightning literally tear right through it. Kakashi substituted the log as the log got destroyed in mid-air. He reappeared on the ground, only to duck under a kick from Naruto, as Kakashi went through hand sign while he was down on the ground. He slammed his hand down as a massive wall erupted, knocking Naruto in mid-air. But the Naruto that knocked up in mid-air bursts. A bright light that consumed the entire area, swallowing up everything. Kakashi cursed as he could not see anything, but he had his senses locked and trained. That is why he blocked the kick that was aimed towards his head as he grabbed the leg and twisted before flipping the person and driving them into the ground, only for a hand to burst out of the ground behind him and grab him by the back before yanking him down. The real Naruto then dropped from mid-air somewhere as he just seemed to poof in existence as he slammed a harsh punch in Kakashi's stomach. Kakashi wheezed before he spun on his feet, kicking away Naruto's feet as he flipped over. He placed a kunai at Naruto's throat as the light died down. As Naruto was being held, Kakashi was wincing from the pain to his stomach. Well, I must say you've gotten fast. But still, hey, you should know, said Samui. You should never touch him. Kakashi looked down. Boom! The clone exploded. Not in an explosion to blow Kakashi to pieces, but electricity that jolted the man. As he stepped back, his hair was frantic. Steam coming from his body. Kakashi's Sharingan spin around as he turned and blocked Naruto blow. Both of their hands connecting in mid-air. The both of them then exchanged taijutsu, their fists clashing together violently. As Naruto swept away Kakashi's leg, but Kakashi flipped over. He drove a hard jab to Naruto's shoulder. Naruto grabbed the wrist and twisted and flinged him, throwing him towards a tree as Kakashi twisted in mid-air. He landed on the tree before launching off. Going through hand sign, he released a massive inferno that took shape of a dragon. It launched towards Naruto. Naruto kicked off the ground and spun. His entire body got arched with electricity as his electricity tear right through the fire before he slammed his hand together, another bright light exploding off. Kakashi ducked under the sweep once again. He wouldn't fall for that. Suddenly, the real Naruto burst out of the ground as he grabbed Kakashi by the throat. As he picked him up, blam! He slammed him against the ground hard. Kakashi then poofed away as the real one came and swing. A swinging kick to knock Naruto right out, who ducked underneath it as he smirked, looking directly into Kakashi's eyes, despite the Sharingan being on. Voltage was shocking Naruto repeatedly, not anything to harm him in a bad state, but enough to make him not fall for any of Kakashi's genjutsu. Kakashi cursed as Naruto simply smirked, before doubling up, bam! Kakashi was sent sailing by a kick to the back. He flipped in mid-air, only to duck under a swipe. A few inches of his hair was sliced off by Samui's blade. Sakura dropped from the sky, boom! He leaped away as he landed on a tree. He was now panting. He leaped off the tree as the tree was exploded into millions of shrapnels by a giant lightning blast. As he panted, he was now surrounded by the three of them, as the two girls were flanking him from left to right, as Naruto was at the front. Kakashi looked at all of them before looking over towards Navi. Well, I suppose we're done here, he said, as he looked down towards his belt. The bells that he had there were completely gone. Kakashi had no idea when Naruto removed them, or if it was even Naruto but they were gone. It was, as Naruto held up the bells. Didn't notice, did you, he said. When exactly, Kakashi asked. Naruto waved his finger. A ninja must always keep his or her secrets to himself or herself, said Naruto. You were the one that taught me that. You don't want me to go tell my secrets now, do you, Kakashi-sensei, he said. Touché, said Kakashi. Snady came over. Well, that was quite the show, she said. Kakashi looked down to himself that was dirty and had slashes over him. Was that really necessary, Lady Hokage, he asked. She glared at him. What? I mean, Sakura has been trained by you personally, so you know what she's capable of. Naruto has been trained by Lord Jiraiya, so he's know what he's capable of. The only person we don't know fully about is Samui here. And Naruto can't vouch for her. So was this all necessary? You just don't want to do anything because you want to read that book of yours, don't you? You know, keep on going against me with these things, and I'll ban that book from ever being sold in Konoha, and to be destroyed if it is found on Konoha property. as Kakashi shrank in on himself as he kept his mouth shut. At Jiraiya huff, "You can't ban literature of this magnitude," he said. Snavy turned towards him. "I still remember what you told Naruto to do, you know that, right?" Jiraiya backed away. "You see, we was just comparing." Snavy eye twitched, so did Samui's. "No, I didn't mean to say it like that. We was just, testing." Blam! He was sent sailing up in the air by a punch from Snavy as his body show off a star. "Whoa," said Naruto. "Glad I'm not in his shoes." Naruto-kun. As Naruto froze, he gulped. "What exactly were you comparing?" "It couldn't be my chest size to your Hokage. I must be mistaken, right?" "Shit, man, you're dead," said Kiba. "It was just an experiment. No, I mean a joke," as he started to back away, when he was grabbed from behind by Snavy. "Bachin, what are you doing?" "Just to make sure you don't get away," she said. As he looked over, "Sakura, help me." "Sorry, Naruto. I can't go against Lady Tsunami's wishes." "Kiba!" "Huh. You expect me to help you? Jackass, you deserve this." "What the hell did I do?" said Naruto. "Being so goddamn awesome," Kiba said. "So, that's it? You traitor." Shikamaru was already gone. As he looked towards Hinata. "Hinata." "Sorry, Naruto-kun. I have to obey by the Hokage's rules." "Traitor! All of you," said Naruto. The next moment. "Huh. You too," said Jiraiya. As the both of them find themselves in the same hole. "Yeah. This is your fault, you know," said Naruto. "You lying bastard," Jiraiya said. "You were the one that wanted to compare their chest size. I don't know when you did, but you became a pervert along the way. Not a super pervert as me, but a pervert nonetheless," said Jiraiya. "Screw you," said Naruto. "Well, at least it's not me my girlfriend's gonna be punching tonight," said Jiraiya. "Huh, you have no idea," said Naruto. "What do you mean by that?" Jiraiya asked. "Well, whenever we fussle or fight in some way, it just makes things 10 times hotter. So, I enjoy her punching me and berating me because when I go home, she's gonna bang my brains out." Jiraiya reached for his notebook as Naruto pointed his finger towards it and zapped it. "You little shit," said Jiraiya, as Naruto picked himself up and he was gone. Meanwhile, at the hidden stone, bam! The window shattered behind Oniki. The man was pissed off, livid, angry. Yes, this Naruto Uzumaki, who's been going around doing all these things, who has been stopping his forces from invading a couple of villages that they were paid missions to do what they had to do because the other forces had paid the God of Lightning to protect them. Naruto has become an A-rank missing nin in his bingo book. But now he just got some news. How could he not see it? The man clenched his fist tight. Minato. There was a picture of Minato, the fourth Hokage, on the wall, with a kunai stabbed right into his skull on the photo. And there was a picture of Naruto on the wall as well. He seemed younger. Yes, it was when he was 13 or 14. Not his current age now. They didn't have an updated photo. But the two of them was right beside each other. Suddenly, someone burst in the room. "Gramps, what the hell's going on?" As Kurosaki looked over towards the wall. "Hey, you know, when I look at it, that guy that they've been calling the God of Lightning looks just like..." She then looked towards his window that was broken. The envelopes were calm, so that meant he was the one that did it. "No goddamn way," she said. "Is he?" Oniki slammed his fist into the wall. "Yes. I thought that man died out and his legacy was gone. Well, it seems he left one behind that was kept hidden from everyone. But now that he's made a name for himself, he's gotten quite popular. Naruto, the God of Lightning," Oniki said. Huh. Kurosaki couldn't believe it. She sighed. That was a very, very long time ago. Most people here hated the Yellow Flash. Yes, they hate them. After all, not many people could slaughter thousands of ninjas so quickly. And they lost the war tremendously because of him. So they really hated him here, despite it was a war. Most people didn't really care about that. After all, it was a war. But still, most of them spend most of their life hating that man with every fiber of their being. To now find out that he was a son. They were gonna hate his son as well. Yeah, the hatred's gonna carry on, she thought to herself. She shook her head. I hope you're not planning to do anything stupid. He snapped his head towards her. You know I'm the Tishikage, right? Yeah, but you sometimes overthink things when it comes to that man. That was a long time ago, Gramps. As much as I hate him as well. Let bygones be bygone. Oniki's eye twitch. What? Do you really intend to start something with him? The man sighed as he let his arms down. The boy was already a dangerous foe. And, not to mention, he had the nine-tailed fox inside of him. That was bad. It didn't make sense to go and start anything now. And enlist the wrath of Konoha, not to mention, Jiraiya was quite favorable to the boy. So they will have a Sanin back in him. And yes, the entire force of Konoha, after all. From what Oniki got from his sources, he was quite popular there because of his retained lineage, and not to mention him saving them against the Shikaku 3 years ago. As he dipped his head. Just forget about the past, old man. It's already over. After all, you're getting old now. It's time that you give up that seat. I mean, your back is always getting loose every now and then. I'm still in the prime of my youth, he said, before something snapped. Her face got a wide grin on it. Oh, what was that? Was it her back, she asked. Get out. Get out, he said. She laughed. See you later, Gramps, she said. She left. Meanwhile, back at Konoha, it was currently nighttime. This is so troublesome. Why are we doing this again? As Temari turned toward Shikamaru. It's a date, jackass, she said. Have you ever heard of a date before? Yes. But why do we have to walk around the park? Can't we just go and... He looked up. Never mind. What was it, she said. Well, the clothes are much better at morning, he said. Well, I'm gonna be leaving tomorrow. So this is as much time you get to spend with me. You know, your mom told me to beat the laziness out of you. And don't let you end up like your father. She was hoping that I wasn't too late. And I'm gonna make sure I'm not, she said, as she cracked her knuckles. Shikamaru sighed. Curse you, Naruto, he said. Despite saying that, he liked her. After all, his parents liked her, especially his mom. And his father told him that, well, people like them always get the rough girls that try to stop them from being lazy. It was just the way how the world was set up. Temari smiled. As if it wasn't for Naruto, none of this would have happened. Flashback. Temari sat in the cafe with Shikamaru as both of them are the hidden sand. This was a year before Naruto came back to the village, as they were already dealing with the house, binds, and everything. But he hadn't purchased it yet. He's been gone for some time now, said Shikamaru. I think he blew us off. What? He was the one to invite us here. And for what reason I don't know, she said. He just kept on mumbling about a lot of things. He's probably just wasting our time, said Shikamaru. What a drag. The waiter then came over. I was told to give you this after 10 minutes has passed. As Temari took the paper, her face turned a bit red before she placed it back down. What is it? She crumbled it up. Nothing, she said. As expected, the waiter said as he handed the paper to Shikamaru. She snatched it away as she looked at it. She crumbled it up once again. What was this bastard doing, she thought to herself. As expected, the waiter said, as he handed Shikamaru a paper. Her eye twitched as Shikamaru opened it. Hey, jackass, she likes you. On her paper, it read, he's just too lazy to realize. Give him a chance. Shikamaru looked towards Temari, as Naruto then came back in the room. Just poof back in, out of nowhere. So you guys get my message, he said. You set all this up, just so we could get together, Shikamaru said. Yeah, have fun on your date. What? Said Temari. End of flashback. And that's how it happened. Strangely enough, they had stayed and they talked. And things just get rolling. Yeah. Seems that dumb blonde found a way to get them together. It was weird. As Gaara really approved of this relationship. Because Shikamaru was... He had his head on his shoulders. And she was happy that her brother, approve of this guy that she liked. It's not like Gar would force her to break up with someone or anything like that. But ever since she got her brother back in her life, thanks Naruto, she, well, was happy. And to hear him approve of Shikamaru, it was just wonderful. At the moment, as they were having a good time, Gar was not, as he was being carried away by a strange white bird out of the hidden sand. As he just saved everyone, used a large sand pillar. He protected everyone from the blast. But explosions went off when he got back into his cocoon, and they knocked him out. And at the moment, he was being carried away. Sorry for the delay, Sorcerer, my man. It seems like it took a longer time than I thought. You know I hate to be kept waiting, said Sorcerer on the ground. Yeah, sorry about that. Next time. As he looked towards his floating arm, it won't take so long. This Jinjulki just caught me off guard. As Deidara came down as Sorcerer simply turned his head. Let's get going already, he said. Kankuro went to chase after them, but it wasn't going to turn out so pretty for him. Time skip. The next morning, Naruto was in bliss. Yes. His face was firmly set against a cushion. Too plump, flush cushion. And he couldn't be any happier. There was a big happy smile on his face. After all, it was wonderful. It was beyond wonderful. This was his perfect way of waking up. As he slowly lifted his head up. The girl that he was sleeping on while his head was. She blinked her eyes open slowly as she looked down. You love this position, don't you? She said. Well, of course. It's my perfect way to wake up. I think I'm gonna get myself a breast reduction surgery, she said. His eyes widened as she laughed. I love seeing that look on your face. Come on, I've done this 6 times before. Do you really believe me? She asked. Not to mention you always gave me those wonderful massages for my shoulders that always ease the pain of me carrying this stressful load. Don't say that about them, said Naruto. They're wonderful. Masterpiece crafted by God himself. You can't call them stressful load. Mwah. Naruto kissed them. You're just saying that because you love to play with them, she said. Well, that's a part of it, said Naruto. As he rolled over. She rolled over and kissed him. Good morning, she said. Good morning, said Naruto. So, what are we gonna do today, she asked. Well, I suppose we should report in to Snatty. After all, that yesterday was kind of a test to see where we were. Well, that couldn't be really accurate, she said. After all, we were holding back a lot. I mean, we were fighting against allies. So what do you think should be accurate, said Naruto. Well, if it was a death match, well, they're not gonna do that, said Naruto. But they should know good enough to rate us, after all. We show that we could handle ourselves. Kakashi is an elite Jonin. So there's nothing to worry about, said Naruto. And besides, my reputation is quite preceding, don't you think? Of course, she said. I mean, who doesn't know the god of water? Naruto eye twitched. What? What do you mean? You're the god of water, she said. Naruto eyes started to twitch. As she simply laughed. I'm gonna go take a shower, she said. She made her way. She poked her head back around the corner. Wanna join me? As Naruto smiled, as he ran inside. Time skip. As the both of them made their way, Samui held on to Naruto's arm. Because all the girls of Konoha seemed to have gotten quite the attraction to him now. All of them looking his way. She made sure to hold his arm to make them know that he's hers. As some of them quickly shy away, but some of them kept on looking, intrigued. But she wouldn't be sharing him, he's hers. And she's his. They arrived to the entrance of the office, later than they should arrive. As they saw Sakura sitting down there waiting. Oh, Sakura, said Naruto. What are you doing here? I thought we could all go in early, she said. But you guys took so long to come. And then people started to pass by and I started to talk to them. And then I just sit here and start to wait, she said. What took you guys so long? Oh, we were just having sex, said Samui. Sakura's face turned red as she got rather embarrassed, causing Samui to laugh as she simply walked by them. Don't bother with her. She loved to make people feel embarrassed. Then she laughed after them, said Naruto. Well, it's quite amusing. Huh, you would think that, she said, as she picked herself up. They made their way to the office. Ah, said Snazzy. So you guys are finally here. Well, you didn't give us a time to arrive, said Naruto. So what's gonna happen now, Bachan, said Naruto. Well, she then turned her head towards the window. You gonna come in or not, she asked, as Kakashi stepped inside the office, still reading his book as her eye twitched at that. Jiraiya then flipped inside as well, through the other window. What's going on? Oh, I'm just leaving, said Jiraiya. You know I gotta keep on being constant on the road, so I just came to say goodbye for some time until I return, he said. Before Snazzy or anyone else could say anything, someone burst through the door. Lady Hokage, urgent message from the Hidden Sun. Time skip. Naruto was at the gate with Jiraiya. Alright, brat. This is what you have been training for. You're going to go up against S-rank ninjas. I taught you everything I could. You have learned more than I even thought, not to mention in diving in Fuinjutsu. So, I believe, no, I know that you can handle yourself. So go and show them hell, Jiraiya said. Remember what you told me. They can't kill you, but you can kill them. As he gave Naruto a thumbs up. What? Are you turned to my guy now, said Naruto. As Jiraiya simply laughed at that. He placed a hand on Naruto's shoulder. Be careful. Am I not always, said Naruto. Hell no, said Jiraiya. See ya, he said, as Naruto made his way off, catching up with the team that made their way as well. Snazzy came beside Jiraiya. What was that about? Just giving him a good speech. Hey, I never asked. Where are the Kiba blades? Asked Snazzy. Well, Naruto kind of gave them away. He what? So, what about the blade I told him to keep for himself? Oh, he still has that. It's become something rather precious to him. After all, it's from you. Snazzy smiled at that. As the blade her grand-uncle had used. The second Hokage, Naruto had fought Aoi, a man that deserted Konoha after he stole a forbidden scroll. Not the forbidden scroll that the third Hokage had in his office. Something different. He had stolen it from IT department, and he ended up killing Ibiki's brother for it. Ibiki had been angry for some time, as he wanted to get revenge on the man. That is why he was finally happy to hear that the man was dead. Naruto had sent a letter to Snazzy to send back the blade, back to Konoha, but Snazzy told him to keep it. After all, she would just put it down and it would call it dust. And it would suit better for someone like him especially, since he had light and affinity. But she had to know. Who did he give the Kiba blades to? You know? I have absolutely no idea, said Jiraiya. What the hell do you mean? Well, when he told me that he gave away the blades, I was kind of confused and wondering if he was an idiot. I mean, those are valuable blades. But he said that he did it for the good of Konoha. What does that mean? He said that I and you will find out soon. It seems like he forgot to talk about it with you. Snazzy was just confused, as she wondered what the hell did Naruto do with the blades. Back with the team. Team Kakashi, as it was assigned, made their way. It had to be this way despite Naruto being much stronger. Well, they haven't seen that yet, but he was. Even Jiraiya said it. But Kakashi had the experience. He has been Jonin for the longest. Naruto was not a Jonin yet, he was still Chunin. The amount of missions that he has done so far on the road, he still need a bit more before he got promoted to Jonin rank, which will be soon enough. It was rather strange because Samui was Jonin. Yes, at Komo she was Jonin. And there was a reason why she was Jonin. She was almost as skilled as B when it came to Kenjutsu with blade, even though she didn't have the multiple blade technique. She was quite advanced in it. Not to mention, she had outranked Yujito when it came to blade, despite the Nibichin Julke using blade quite a lot. The group was quickly making their way, as he got an urgent message that the Kazekage was kidnapped. Alright, Brett. This is what you've been pushing yourself so hard for the past 3 years. Nights without sleep, just training. Mornings, hot sun beating on you, nothing but training. Make me proud out there, said Kurama. Is that another motivational speech, said Naruto. No. I'm just saying do your goddamn job. Because I don't want to get sealed away in whatever they're doing. So, Don't screw up, said Kurama. Huh. Thanks for the vote of confidence, said Naruto. Well, you're strong enough to handle yourself. Just don't do anything dumb. Because sometimes you can be a real earhead. And not to mention a jackass. And a stupid goddamn idiot. Hey, you're laying it on a bit too thick, said Naruto. I'm just stating the obvious, said Kurama. Besides, you got this. As Kurama leaned back. I don't have nothing to worry about. Do I? Keep talking to me, I might just offer you up to them as a sacrifice to get rid of your stupid ass. What? Nothing, said Naruto. Huh. You remember what happened last time when you messed with me, right? I mean, please, Kurama, tell me what to do. I have no experience with this. I mean, I know I read about it in books, but I don't know what to do. She's gonna be pissed off when I do something stupid. What if I mess up badly? You remember what I did, right? I just laugh. So, next time you say something, you might want to watch your mouth. We both know who's in charge here. Huh, and that is Naruto asks. He heard a laughter in his head. Hey, what's up with that evil laughing? Oh, you'll see, said Kurama. What are you planning, said Naruto. Kurama just kept on laughing. As Naruto felt a chill run down his spine, he didn't like that laugh one bit. Hey, isn't that your friend, said Samui. As he looked down, it was Temari. Meanwhile, at the hidden sound, his legs were folded as he was sitting upright in the bed. His eyes were closed. An air of calm was reflecting off his body. His eyes seemed to be moved under their eyelids, like he was having an inner struggle with himself, a battle that was clashing violently. He pulled his blade as he moved. The room was not large enough to hold one person. There were 7 wooden paddings in the room. Sasuke Uchiha moved as all of them dropped in a second. His skill with the blade, Kinjutsu, had farly advanced. He took a breath as he sheathed his blade. Cling. As he looked down towards his hands, as a memory rushed past his mind. Orochimaru had sent Sasuke to get a scroll. The scroll had been in the possession of Shino, a man, a rather muscular man, who wanted the power of his zero tail, a beast that was created from malice, darkness. That man had, unfortunately, been up against Naruto Uzumaki. So when Sasuke arrived, he saw the scene. The entire place was blown to smithereens. The once muscular man was grey hair. His body was feeble and weak. Standing over him was none other than Naruto himself, his body caked in lightning. He picked the man up by his shirt, what was remaining of it anyway. I told you, said Naruto, before he paused as he narrowed his eyes behind him. He dropped the man. The man tried to scurry away, but his body was too weakened to do anything. As Sasuke stood at the entrance, well, what was the entrance once, but nothing but destruction now. His eyes firmly fixed on Naruto, who turned to look at him. It's been a long while, Sasuke, said Naruto. End of flashback. Many things happened in that mission. One of them was a battle that Sasuke was going to think about right now, as that was the first time he saw Naruto in the past 3 years. He shrugged it off as he made his way outside, as he could feel the power coursing through his veins. The reason why he got strong was to defeat Itachi. He would never, not in a million years, let Orochimaru take his body. After all, the man was getting weaker and weaker. It was soon time to kill him. With that, he made his way. Meanwhile, it's gonna be alright, said Naruto. Sakura is only second best to Tsunade, who is the best medic ninja in the world. She got this, said Naruto, as Temari took a deep breath. And you don't have to worry about Gaara. I'll bring him back, no matter what. Temari nodded, as she really appreciated Naruto confirming that he would bring back her brother for her. Sakura has gotten really amazing at medical ninjutsu, as she was currently working on Kankuro, who was in a really bad condition, but she was healing him up rather fast. It didn't take too long as Kankuro revealed that he had took piece of the Akatsuki clothing. With that, Kakashi was able to use Pakon to track the Akatsuki's. Pakon came back after a while, as he had been brought out to a cave. That is where the trail ended. So, after everyone got ready, Temari was about to leave as well. But they got interrupted. Baki told that she had to stay here, with Kankuro out of, well, fighting sheep. She was the only one left, as the last member of the Sabukuna family. She had to stay. Lucky enough, Lady Chiyo, as Naruto knew the old bat quite well after time he visited the sand many times, she offered to come with them. Despite being in her old age of retirement, she could still fight. So with that, the group headed off, wasting no time, as he had to get Gaara back. They dashed to the trees at fast pace. Meanwhile, Zetsu rose out of the ground. Leader Sama, seems like we have company. Who is it? It's the Kyuubi Jinjuriki, Kakashi Hatake, 2 kunoichis, and an old woman. The ritual is not done yet. Sasori, do you still have the bodies? Yes, Leader Sama. Itachi, Kisame, I want you to slow them down. Just make sure you slow them down long enough so we can finish the ritual. Will do, said Kisame, as he remembered that little brat shocking him all those years ago. He wanted to see how much he has grown, after all. He heard big things about the brat. God of Lightning. That should be interesting. After all, he was basically the god of water, with the way he operated. Seeing that the second Hokage and the second Mizukage was dead, they were quite equipped with water ninjutsu. It literally pulled water from the air. So well, he was basically the god of water that left. How would 2 god face, Kisame thought to himself with a smile, as he looked quite giddy, Samehata on his back purring. Well, it wouldn't be him at 100%, but still, it should be fun. Meanwhile, the group dashed to the trees when they landed in a clearing. Well, what do we have here, said Kisame with a smile. If my eyes are not mistaken me, is that really the god of lightning, he said. The one and only, said Naruto, as he looked over Kisame and Itachi. Well, I see you haven't changed that much, fish face. So you remember me, said Kisame with a twitch of an eyebrow. Yeah, when you came after me back then, said Naruto. So they are part of the group that want to take the Jinchurikis. Wait, isn't that? Yes. Itachi Uchiha, Samui narrowed their eyes. Why would they come here to stop us? Seems like they are trying to buy time. Exactly, said Naruto. Sakura clenched her fists. Well, we can't allow them to slow us down. Wait, stop, something isn't right, said Naruto. What's wrong? She asked. Well, that guy over there, Kisame. He's quite a monster when it comes to chakra. But at the moment, I'm not really feeling much from him. These are not the real ones. They're some clone in some way. Not an exact clone because I can feel chakra coming from them, but at a lesser degree. Itachi chakra resource is quite small as well. They're just a distraction. Well then, we shouldn't waste any time, said Kakashi as he raised his headband. Let's finish this. I'll take the big guy, said Naruto. You guys, take Itachi. Are you sure? Said Kakashi. Yeah, said Naruto. Besides, we have to do this fast. No, hitching up, not even one bit. He went through one hand sign, poof. As Naruto gripped the blade. Wait, is that, said Kakashi. The blade started to hum. A bright spark of yellow lightning came up as a blade. As Naruto moved, boom, he dropped right down the center as he swung it, forcing the both of them to leap back. The group upstairs then moved as well as they leaped off the tree branches, going towards Itachi. Kisame smirked. Well then, that gets you all to myself as he brought down his blade. Blam! Samehata crashed against the Raijin blade. The bandage over Samehata was torn apart. Kisame was confused as he jumped back. Well, you see, this is your worst opponent, said Naruto. Well, for your blade. This is not chakra, this is made by seals. Gifted to the second Hokage by the Uzumakis because of their experience in Fuinjutsu. Channel. Harness lightning. It's like a sentient blade itself. But not much as yours, but still. You can't absorb it. Well then, That will just make it even better, said Kisame. As he moved, bam! He slammed his blade down hard on Naruto's. The ground cracked under Naruto's feet and shattered as Naruto pushed him back with surprise strength before lashing out at Kisame. He tore through the left side of Kisame's robe, who flipped back. Kisame went through hand sign after throwing Samihata up in the air as he spewed water out of his mouth like a river. As Naruto flipped up in mid-air, Kisame met him. Kisame threaded right through Naruto's body, only for Naruto to burst into electricity, shocking Kisame as he threw him back down to the ground. The real Naruto exploded out of the water, already flipping through hand sign. Thanks for the water, he said. Water release, he said. Raging Dragon. The water exploded upwards as it came towards Kisame in a tidal wave. The head of the water turned into a giant dragon as it slammed into Kisame. He dropped deep down into the water that he created as Naruto started to fall from mid-air. Kisame burst out of the water. Samihata pointed right at Naruto, ready to shred right through his stomach. At the last moment, Naruto performed a single hand sign as a clone poofed into existence. He kicked off the clone back as the clone was destroyed. As Naruto held up his hand, electricity started gathering his fingertips. As he started to pull into the center, a ball was created. The ball started to buzz with electricity. As Naruto held it above his head, it started to grow larger and larger. As Naruto smiled down towards Kisame, "Giant Rasengan," he said as he dropped. Kisame smirked as he simply held out Samihata. As Samihata started to absorb when it stopped, something was wrong. The Rasengan poofed away, showing at least 50 explosive tags all wrapped up in a bundle. Naruto waved as he substituted a log. Boom! A bright explosion went off that swallowed this part of the forest. As the team over to the side heard the explosion, Kisame's body was thrown like a rag doll as he crashed onto the ground. The 30% of chakra could not hold up to Naruto, not giving him a second to breathe. Kisame picked himself up after his body was badly burned, but he had a smile on his face. "I'm not done yet, brat." Naruto was behind him that second. He brought on Samihata, only for Naruto to dive right under it. One of the scales came down and tear a thin line right in Naruto's face, too close for comfort. He flipped back up to his feet and swung the blade around. To Kisame's surprise, the blade elongates out of nowhere as it teared through his shoulder. He recoiled because of the shock, as that was all the time that Naruto needed. As he jumped on top of his own blade, his feet was sparking with electricity so he could move on his blade, giving him the edge to flip over Kisame, and he grabbed the blade handle. Yes, literal lightning. He held on to the lightning and yanked it, his own hand covered in lightning. The blade tore Kisame's arm off clean. Kisame uses one remaining arm as he brought Samihata down. Naruto grabbed his falling blade before it could hit the ground and sliced as he teared through Kisame's other arm and kicked him forward. The man slammed into a tree. Naruto wasted no time as he threw the blade. It split through the air and tear right through Kisame's chest. "If you have gotten strong," Kisame said, as he looked down towards the blade in his chest. "I'm looking forward for a real fight between me and you. You can count on that," said Kisame with a bloody smile before his body started to change and regress into the real host of the body. As Naruto came over and picked out his blade, it then returned back to normal, the lightning gone. As he turned his head towards the other fight that was going on. But guys, to be in episode right here, if you want the next part of this or not, do like, subscribe, comment down below, turn on that bell notification, stay posted. But I'm off for now, see you guys soon. Peace.